What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing some more HoN tips. This one is going to be about pulling. Again, same as stacking, pulling is a pretty unanimously known concept. However, not a lot of people know it to the letter, which you should, because it's not all that hard to learn. So, you know, for example, I'm going to teach it to you in 10 minutes or so. So, I mean, that should show you just how, you know, pretty uncomplicated it is. With that said, real quick, I just want to mention stacking is a concept needed for pulling. So if you don't know stacking, which, you know, there's no shame in it. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Then go check out my stacking video. It's a fairly in-depth. I'll cover. I'm not going to tell you how to do stacking, although I will in fact stack in this video. So I mean, you could figure it out just by watching if you really paid enough attention to it. So. You know, there's that, but let's go, oops, I meant to do this, and we're going to go ahead and spawn neutral creeps, just so I can show you. So neutral creeps have now spawned. Normally neutrals don't spawn till 30, and you can't stack them until the minute marks. Again, watch the stacking video, I go into that in depth and show you everything about it. So pulling, what is pulling? Well, pulling is attacking these neutral creeps and pulling them down to about here, and when your ally creeps are coming up right about here, so the ally creeps will attack the neutral creeps, and then the neutral creeps will leash back into their base because their leash will be up, and it will pull your ally creeps in as well. Well, what's the benefit to that? Well, there's two benefits to that depending on how you do it. The first one being if you single stack, meaning with just one neutral creep, it's actually, technically it's no stacking, but you know, I call it single stacking. So with one set of neutral creeps, which it is right now, if you pull now, what it does is it will get you a little bit more experience in gold, as well as it will stack up your waves of minion creeps. Now what that means is it'll send 2 waves of minion creeps at once down the lane, and this is useful when you intend to push a little bit. It can be useful, although I would say at lower tier levels it's not very necessary, and even at higher tiers they tend to not do it because it usually allows the enemy team to get some hits in on your tower and such, and it really ends up equalizing itself, so there's really no huge point to it. But if you're good enough to defend your tower and then use it a little bit, it can be helpful. So I will say that, especially early on, because they're harder to kill. The creeps are harder to kill when it's early on in the game. But again, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't even use that so much, although you could if you wanted to. But really what you're going to be using the pull for is the second option, the second benefit. So the second benefit is if you stack the camp, which I will do right now just to show you. If you stack the camp, if you stack the camp, making it, you know, a double stack, 2 neutral creep camps in here, 2 sets of neutral creeps, blah. Now we have the wolves and the minotaurs. Those are actually pretty good for denying too, so this is pretty good, you know, pretty good sets for denying, so this is perfect. So then the way you do it is you pull out the neutral creeps, sorry. You pull them out and you make them kill off your wave. Now what this does is it will deny a wave of creeps for you, and it will decrease the enemy's experience. It will push the lane further to your tower. So if, for example, the lane is up here, pushed up here, if you do it, it will push the lane back down to here to your tower, which is good. So you can last hit and get experience and not die every 2 seconds. So it's very helpful. Now, real quick before I pull, I want to go over the timings for this. So the timings are your minions will spawn every 30 seconds on the 30-second mark. And if you'll watch here in a second, we'll see one spawn at the 2-minute mark. And they'll start going down the lane. And there they go. Cool. And I will be using... I will be blah 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 blah. And at every, I can't think right now. At every 15 mark from the 30 mark, I should say, you can pull. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and you'll see, and I'll explain it more in depth in a second. So I'm going to show you how they deny. So sometimes you'll get, oh, it didn't happen this time, cool. So I'll explain that in a second, never mind. So I'm not going to help either side. I'm just going to watch them fight it out, and you'll notice that the neutral creeps will pretty unanimously win this fight. But, so back onto the timings, every 15 seconds after the 30-second mark you can pull. I usually do 16 seconds just to be a little bit more safe, but 15 seconds is usually okay too if you're on the 15-second mark exactly. So, and as you'll note, they won that pretty unanimously. They only lost one little tiny wolf and a little bit of health on these guys. So they won that pretty badly, and now that wave is gone. The enemy team cannot use that for experience or gold. Awesome, cool. But, so back on to timing. So if, for example, they just spawned at 30, so that means at 3:15, or I do 16, and I would recommend you all do 16 as well, but at 15 it's okay too. At 3:16, I can attack these guys, and they will pull out, and they will attack them. So watch, at 16, I'm going to attack, then I'm going to walk through these trees, pull them out, and then after I get to about here, I'm going to cut it and go back this way, so they follow me that way. They're going to pull the neutral creep camp in, or pull the ally creeps in, sorry, and actually at the moment I'm going to attack these guys to help them come up. But usually the ballista waves tend to not get denied because the ballista OP guys. But they tend to get denied all the way up to the ballista, and then the ballista will usually pull in a couple archers and help finish it off. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So at 16 as well as 46 you can pull. So at 16 and 46, what I would recommend is that at lower tiers you should have your carry maybe cut down this tree with his hatchet or something, because it makes it a little bit easier to do, as well as the fact that you should keep in mind that technically the enemy can counter ward this and it will stop it from spawning. Now there's a number of ways they can do that. Watch my video on wards if you want specifics, but I'm just going to show you. They could put one directly in here and it would stop the spawn. They could put one behind here, they could put one in this tree here, they could cut down a tree in here, put it like right, I don't know. They could put it in a number of places, that's all I'm going to say. So watch the video on warding if you want a more specific answer for that. Other than that though, that is pulling. Now, I've mentioned the timings and all that. What I do want to mention real quick is sometimes, occasionally, it does happen. I'm not sure the reasoning behind it or how to avoid it yet, so as far as I can tell it's unavoidable. But on occasion, if you pull the creep camps and two of them get like parallel to each other as they're walking in here, and they try and go through this one unit walk space at a time, they can sometimes creep block themselves, and it will, in fact, they like stutter step. And you know, if the fog is here and they can't see it, that's why I like to run through here real quick so they can see it. But if you stay over here, for example, so I'm going to see if I can get it to happen right here. It's kind of random. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it stops them from attacking it, and they go back to the lane. It's unfortunate, but I'm going to stay out here to try and show it to you. See if maybe I can get it. No, it didn't happen. So sometimes they'll block themselves in right here. Like two of them will try and get through at the same time. And they stutter step, and then if there's fog, they can't see the neutral creep anymore. So after about 2 seconds, they lose aggro, and they change their minds and just go right back to the lane. So it is unfortunate. I believe I already covered when to creep pull, but just FYI, I'll say it one more time. Don't creep pull unless you shouldn't, creep pull all the time. You should creep pull when the waves are being pushed up so your enemies can, so your lane will get pushed back to your tower and your teammates can get last hits and experience. If you creep pull when the wave is here, for example, and I double stack and creep pull and deny the wave, it's going to cause my tower to take damage as well as the hero that is here in this lane, in this case me, to take a significant amount of damage, which isn't necessarily a good trade. To deny them experience for tower damage as well as damage on my hero is not necessarily a good trade. So keep that in mind when you're pulling. You need to know when to pull. It's not always a good idea just to pull just because you think they'll lose experience. That's not always a good trade. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. And I think that's all I wanted to cover. So real quick, I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're better gamers because of it. Go help your lane out. Go help your allies in their solo lanes or duo lanes. If you're a support, you can, a supporty player in a duo lane can come over here and do it when the lane gets pushed up too. It's beneficial either way. So, go be better players, you know what I mean? Don't be noobs. Go help your team out. And if you guys have anything you want me to cover as future HoN tips, let me know and I'll get to those first. I have ideas for what I'm going to do for my next ones already, so but if you guys want me to do specific ones first, I'd be more than happy to do that. So if you want me to cover something, feel free to let me know. Other than that, though, I think that's all I wanted to cover, so I will talk to you guys later. You guys know where the like and subscribe buttons are. Hit them if you want, or the dislike button if you would like, but please tell me why you disliked it so I can improve. Just hitting the dislike button, okay, that's, your choice, I guess, but it doesn't really help me, so, be nice people. Let me know, you know what I mean? So with that being said, though, that's all I wanted to cover. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I put out more content regularly, so you know, there will be more tips coming out. So keep that in mind if you guys want to come back again. But so thank you for watching. This has been some HoN tips with Elfis, and I will talk to you guys later. Elfis out.